Hi everyone, welcome back to Step Out the Box. This is our village. We are on here with Patricia May, founder of Put Down the Guns. So very glad to have her on the show. Make sure that you guys are following all social media platforms, her platform, our platform, and make sure that you are looking in the description box on how you can volunteer, how you can donate, how you can help build Step Out the Box so we can continue to help our village, okay? I love you all so much and I'm so grateful that you're watching. Hello, Miss Patricia.
Hello.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Patricia Wrighty. I go by Patricia May on Facebook. I'm a 62-year-old grandmother, and I fight against gun violence. I'm the only female/woman in the city that fights against this horrific situation
Of gun violence. Yes.
And unsolved homicides. It's very trying. Some days it's worse than others, but this is what I do.
What made you do this?
It came about, my grandson Daquan was shot and killed the day after Christmas, December 26, 2021. And from that day forward, just putting myself around his family, it was heartbreaking. It was so much to be at the scene where he was and to see his mother and father standing there in the dead of winter. His dad had no coat on. His poor mother was just staring where they had a black tarp around him. And I felt like I literally felt their pain.
Yeah.
His sisters was sitting in the car and they were so upset and crying that I'm just standing there and I'm just looking, and sometimes your mind will focus on something, and when it's something like that, you just stand there and you look and you be like, come on, Daquan, just get up, just get up, just get up, just get up. Because the reality won't come until later.
Yeah.
When I took a blanket over to his mother so his dad could have his coat back, because again, there was snow on the ground, it was cold. His mother turned around and looked at me. I seen in her eyes, I seen past her eyes, almost into her soul, and I couldn't even bear what I was feeling just by looking at her. And I knew that this was devastation beyond repair. And it's sad because I always consider myself to be a fixer. I can fix anybody. Right. But I knew that this was something I couldn't fix. Yeah. And it was just heartbreaking, heart-wrenching. And to be a strong person, not only did I feel like I needed to be strong for her and her husband and her children, but for Daquan's son, who was his only son at the time, which is Casey. To be strong for everybody in my family as well. To be able to be around so much sadness and so much grief that you're confused on the inside as to, Lord, why am I not crying? Why can't I cry?
Right.
You want to cry, but that's not, it's not the time for you personally to cry, because
you're trying to be strong for everyone else.
Exactly. And
you have some tissue right there. It's okay.
This is the hard part of this whole thing. But the fact that this happened the day after Christmas, like he literally was just sitting in his mom's house on the floor with his first and only son, playing with his Christmas toys. And when that phone call came through, I was sitting in my room and I'm just like, I hear everybody, oh no, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then my phone rings and it's my daughter telling me that Daquan passed. And I said, the hell do you mean Daquan passed? What's going on? She said, somebody shot him. And I said, where did this happen? she said, on Emerald Street between 6th and 5th. We all flew. I lived out Lucas Lane. It took me approximately 4 minutes to get from the 5,000 block of Locust Lane to Emerald Street. My mind was going in every direction possible because I'm like, no, this can't be, this can't be, this can't be. But to stand there and see the reality of it and say, what am I supposed to do now?
Right.
What am I supposed to do? A couple days went by, and it was the day after his funeral. When we were standing at his funeral saying goodbyes, that was another hard day because his mother couldn't even speak. And I was sitting there and I was feeling this energy. About 2 days, day or so after the funeral, I was sitting in my room still trying to gather all this, and the only thing I kept thinking about was his son.
Yeah.
That's all I kept thinking about. And all of a sudden, it was like, I said, Lord, what am I supposed to do? Why is this happening? You know, what can I do to try to help? And it was like feeling I don't want to say a cool, but like a warm sensation on my shoulder.
Right.
And I stopped and I looked up and I said, what is it, Lord? And he said, this is your assignment. I was confused. I said, what do you mean? This is my assignment. What is the assignment? Nothing. And I started beating my head against the wall like, what does he mean? This is your assignment. And after I talked to Daquan's mom again, I said, I figured it out. He wants me to fight to save these souls in a way that it's never been talked about, it's never been established. And from that day on, the first time I named this group, it was Stop the Silence, Stop the Violence. And I had to think about it, and I said, no, that's not strong enough. That's not what this is about. What this is about is a lot bigger than what you could even imagine, because this is something that goes on through every city, every state, every nation, every country. So the Lord came again and he said, put down the guns. So, it's about right.
Yeah.
It pretty much fits what's going on with this whole thing. And I said, okay, so now what do you want me to do? And he says, it's going to come to you. I'm going to send it to you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
You're receiving in downloads.
Yes. And it was increments.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
One day it was this, and then the next day it was like, okay, I start doing it. And he says, nope, I need you to do it this way. So I said, okay. And as time went on, I'm not familiar with how to do these different things on Facebook or whatnot, but I was sitting there playing with my phone, and all of a sudden I said, oh, I can do this and this and this. And I said, okay, so that's where it came to put down the guns. And I put it on the Facebook, and if you go to my page and you see put down the guns, you'll see Daquan's picture sitting right there. And everybody, I've been questioned as to, you know, why is it just Daquan's picture? And I say that I fight for all victims and all families of gun violence and homicides. I need them to understand that I do care about their families. I do care about their loved ones that they lost. This is a project that is in depth and detailed because of him.
Right. This is the blessing that came out of that pain. You know, whenever we go through a hard time, there's always something positive on the other end. So this is what came out. This is what you birthed from having all those pains. And
from reading Deuteronomy, that's a book of love. And God tries to make everybody understand that, you know, when we all pull together, this shows more love and more compassion from one another than to pick up a gun and take a life.
Yes.
So this is why I said that you know, in order to have people get a greater depth of this, I do fight for all victims, and I do fight for unsolved homicides. But this came as a part to forever keep his memory alive.
Right.
Because now he has two sons. One that he met, which is Kason. The other one is 7, and he has never met him. And I give so much praise to his mom and dad and his family for the things and the way that they love these two boys. And it keeps rolling into the back of my mind as to one day they're going to have to relive this whole nightmare.
Yeah. They as well will see what you're doing and what the family's doing. And right now, your organization is an upcoming organization, yes. But that in 5 years, it's not going to be. You know, in 10 years, it's not going to be. So when the information does get brought to these children, mm-hmm. and they get to hear it, they're also going to see how the tragedy got turned around. You know, it's phenomenal what you're doing, because they're going to be able to see that. They're going to see, like, my dad is not here in the physical, but he's still living on. Every time we fight for gun violence, every time we put his name up there, like, his name is still alive. And there's so many people that they die, and, you know, at first, the first week or two or something, you got the shirts and you got the buttons and you got this and you got that, and then people die off. Yes. Like, people don't come around, or they don't talk about you ever again. Yeah. And now your grandson, someone's going to forever talk about him.
Yes, because his legacy is going to live on through them.
Right.
His legacy is going to live on through what
you're doing.
I'm doing,
mm-hmm.
for his family and for his sons.
Right.
And I keep saying it all the time that, you know, to lose a father or a mother in just a regular tragedy is already heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
But when you have two small children that he was used to seeing his dad every day.
Yeah.
Birthday parties. I can't even say the first holiday because they took him, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. That was it, one holiday. And these boys don't deserve this. Nobody's children deserve this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I think a lot of it, like, you know, me and you spoke on the phone before, is just the fact of what is attached to these individuals, you know, just those evil spirits, and what the enemy wants them to do. And it's like, okay, get mad because he took your girlfriend, get mad over the money, get mad over, and it's like, you know, you don't only realize that you take someone else's life, right. You take your life too, because you go to jail, or there's retaliation. Yes. And then the people who are attached to all those people who love these individuals, they get caught in the crossfire. So it becomes a messy situation. So, in me personally, when I listen to your organization and what you do, and just the title in general, Put Down the Guns, that kind of sums up the whole thing. There won't be any type of violence of that nature if you would put down those guns. Okay, what happened to back in the day? You would fight and get over it, and it is what it is, you know. Now it's like you're scared to fight because you're scared to get beat up, because if you get beat up, you're going to get clowned. But listen, I'd rather fight and be clowned because I lost the fight than kill you, and then I lose my life, because if I go to jail, I'm not coming back home. Or if you're one of your family members or friends or whatever retaliate, and I lose my life, that's it, I'm done. So I'd rather just fight and get it over with. I don't feel like a woman, a male, money, I don't think any of those things are worth losing, you know, your life.
It's a lose-lose situation.
Absolutely a lose-lose
for
situation.
both sides.
Yeah.
And the fact that, you know, people need to understand two things. For one, guns don't kill people. People kill people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. And I'm grateful you said that, because I'm a proud gun owner.
So
when they talk about these, we're going to change laws and guns and this and that, I'm just like, no, you need to pay attention to how they're getting the guns. You know what I'm saying? How they're even being put into our cities, because 9 times out of 10, a lot of these guns are not because they got them from their household. They got them from people in their cities. But how are those people getting them? And it's the people behind it. It's the people who are afraid to fight. And I did a video about this not too long ago, and I was so angry because I was just like, just get your ass whooped. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
The truth is, if you get your butt whooped, you get your butt whooped. Like,
But
it
you live
is what
another
it.
day.
But I'll fight you tomorrow then, you know what I'm saying? If that's what I have to do. But at least I'll have a chance, you know? When you put a gun in your hand and you decide you're going to pull a trigger, that's it for you and the person on the other end of that gun.
Yes.
And then on top of that, like I said, if you make gun owners look bad, because it's like if we're not being protective of our weapons and keeping them in a safe place and all that. No. Because personally, I'm not going around shooting people.
Right.
And I teach my children the same thing. Guns are for safety. They're for your protection. They're not to go playing around.
Right.
They're not for you to go and show your friend and the gun goes off. It's not for you to go and, oh, they made me mad, I'm gonna go get mom's gun, I'm gonna go
Right.
No, like I teach them those things. Guns, you can hurt someone, you can hurt yourself, you can kill someone. That is a life-changing situation.
It is.
And it's something that, you know, a lot of people maybe should talk to their children more about. The most important thing is that anger and the rage and the jealousy and all the things that come with it that make you feel like, okay, I'm gonna go take his life.
Well, see, it's a lot more, and this is where it gets even more in depth, because not only is it out of anger,
Yeah.
it's out of mental health.
Yep. Some people.
It's out of the fact that, you know, what I try to demonstrate to people is, when I go to Schaffner and I mentor these at-risk youth, and that's what they all are, because a majority of them are there because they had an involvement with a gun.
Right.
Okay? And to sit there and talk to some of these young men, you can tell which ones are hearing you and which ones are like,
Yeah.
and those are always the ones that you have to push harder on.
They're just a little harder to love.
and they'll tell you, listen, I
Yeah.
transported these boys to placement. I've had personal conversations with these young men. And they'll tell you, away from their peers, they'll talk to you. You'll get their genuine, true self.
Yeah.
When they're around their peers, they feel like they have to be this, oh, I'm this thug on the block.
Yeah.
I'm that thug. I'm the
I got a point to prove.
Right. I got a reputation I got to hold. But behind them closed doors, you get to see and hear.
And some of them are so nice. And some of them are so loving, and they're, you know, they're jokeful and they're playful. But yes, peer pressure plays a big part
factor
of, you know, these gun violence too. And it's like, you know, go ahead and do it, girl. You're this or that if you don't do it, you know. And it's unfortunate because, you know, you have to have that strong character.
Yes.
And you have to be like, well, you know, you do it then. If it's all that, then why are you sending me? You know what I mean? Like, and some people don't, you know, sometimes they might feel intimidated by the person they're being peer pressured from too.
Right.
And some of those people are unfortunately older people.
Yes.
You know, that influence the younger people to, yeah, go ahead and do that. It's all good, you know, I got you if you go down. It's like,
and you know what? I've spoke this to them and I said, well, since you've been here where you are, how many of your friends
come to see you?
Came to see you,
Yes.
called about you, reached out to you, sent a letter to you? Because if they were your true friend and that's your ride or die dog, why didn't you riding with me?
Yeah.
A majority of these boys say, yeah, man, I ain't hear from so-and-so and
X amount of time. Yeah.
So I try to give them something to
think about,
keep in their mind, like, where's your ride or die now?
Yeah.
And now you sitting here doing this, you don't even know what your fate is holding right now, because this is just a holding point for you. You know, and this even goes on to say, I can't say just the fathers because it takes both parties.
Right.
But why would you try to distinguish in your kids' minds, your young sons, if you're locked up and incarcerated for taking a life or selling drugs or selling guns or whatever, why would you try to embed this into your child
to do the same?
To do the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a generational curse.
Right.
You're supposed to break this generational curse.
And with all fairness, some fathers do try.
They do.
You know, but some of the children at this point, you've been in prison, you know, the fathers or whatnot, or mothers too, you know.
Yeah.
You know, you've been in jail, you're not raising me, you really don't care about me. You know, they that's the thoughts that go through their head. The streets is written, these are my boys, they care about me. They're going, you know, and then that's how they lead. Even when sometimes some of these parents or fathers, they are trying to get them away from that, there's still that tug of war and people pulling them this way. But then there are fathers and mothers too, and like I said, parents, period, guardians, however you want to call it, that they teach it to them.
Yeah.
They teach it to them because that's all they know. No. And then it just the pattern keeps repeating itself over and over.
And they blame society.
Yeah.
But you can only blame society to a point, because if you take a good look, like for me to do what I do, I had to literally walk out my front door, get in my car, and just ride in order to see the big picture of all of this. People say, mom lost a job, dad got hooked on drugs. How did all this occur? It's very basic. It starts from something small and gets bigger. You get into a car accident, now you can't go to work, you go to the doctors, pain management ain't working, they put you on pills. Now you're addicted to the pills. Now your child may feel like, well, dad's in jail, mom's strung out, what am I supposed to do? And you're sitting there looking at your brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
That I need to
do something about
this. And this is where it comes into where, you know, let me go buy a gun, let me sell some crack, let me sell some pills, let me sell whatever. The thing about it is, you know, trying to make people understand that this thing is bigger than us.
Yeah. I think every everything we do is bigger than us, and I think a lot of times that's where we mess up. That we feel like it's me, and it's not. It's you know, I was listening to, you know, motivational. I tell you, I watch motivational speaking all the time, or, you know, segments and different things, and they were just saying, like, there's people's dreams and their lives attached to yours, even ones you don't even know about. Yes. So when you make the choices you make, those people who are attached to you, now you just created a path that they got to follow down, and you could choose if it's going to be the right path or the wrong path. And that all depends on how you are, your actions, what you create, and what you put out into the world. Yeah. And like, if I'm out here being a gangbanger, doing this, doing that, selling drugs, and acting a fool, then of course the people whose lives are attached to mine, this is the path I created for them. So this is it. That's the way they're going to go. Unintentionally knowing, I don't even know these people, but their lives are attached to mine, so this is the route I took them. Now, if I switch it up and I decide, okay, I'm going to run a nonprofit organization, step out the box, I'm going to try to help people, I'm going to try to make a difference, I'm going to do all these things. Now these people's lives, they're going in a positive way. And I don't even know it yet. There's people on my video segments, or, you know, my YouTube channel, from other states, other countries. I don't even know these people. And they're like, I love you so much. Like, I appreciate what you're saying, you know. And maybe by hearing what they were meant to hear it, because they heard it,
Definitely.
Right? And by hearing that, their lives might have changed in some type of way, shape, or form. I don't know how it changed, but clearly it changed in a way that they feel so drawn to me to say, hey, I love you. I like what you're doing. Yeah. And I don't even know these people. So we do have a choice on how we want to lead the rest of the people behind us. And you have to be cautious of that, especially when you are a leader. When you are a leader, you really have to be careful, because you're held to a higher standard. And if you're out here acting crazy when you're not supposed to be acting crazy, and you're out here doing things secretively, when, you know, all that's in the dark comes to the light. Exactly. And, you know, you're just not being who you say you are. All those things are exposed, and the people who are attached to you, they're going to follow you thinking, oh yeah, this person is doing so great, they're a leader, they're this, but you're not doing on a show. You're putting on a show, and when they find it out, then they're lost. Then those people are lost because they followed you. They thought that this is the right way to go, and you done just you sent their butts to the ditch. You know what I mean? And that's not how this is supposed to go.
No.
Together as unity, we're all supposed to be
On the
doing
same page.
doing the right thing. Doing the right thing as best as we know how. And that goes for teaching our kids the right and the wrong and the indifferent, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I try to be very honest with my children about things according to like their age group, because I try not to be too much for them. But I let them know things so they understand, like, life is not easy. You know, when I speak about the guns, don't play around with guns, knives, you don't kill people. You know, it's a difference between someone's attacking you and, you know, you're having self-defense type of thing, instead of you just being angry and you're like, oh, you know, and I'm going to go ahead and do this. So I try to teach them that. I try to teach them manners. I try to teach them values and respect and all the things you're supposed to teach your children, because I'm not going to be here one day. And if I plant the seed in you now, I pray that you listen, you know, and I pray that the peer pressure in the world, because that can be hard.
It is.
You know, especially when people are less fortunate and the people you're listening to, they got it like that.
And they think you're very vulnerable.
Yeah, and they're just like, okay, well, I want the new J's too, and I want the new coat, and I want them nice fancy cars and the boots and the this. So they're following you thinking like they got it all together, but you don't got it all together neither. And what you're doing is not. It's only a temporary situation.
Yes.
You're not building anything with longevity. It's just right now, and all that comes to an end. We both know that the street life comes to an end for every single one, a part of it.
And that's what I explain to these at-risk youth. I have to let them know, like, you're playing one of the most dangerous games in the world is to pull a trigger and take somebody's life, because these judges are handing out football numbers anymore for homicides. A majority of the homicides that are happening are between the ages of 12 and 21.
And that's your whole life. That's life in prison.
That's
it. You're done.
Them ages is supposed to be your most
crucial,
valuable and crucial life. Football, baseball, you know, all the things that part of your life is supposed to experience as fun. Where you start making up your mind, oh, you know, I want a girlfriend, you know, I want to get a job, I want to do this, I want to play major football.
You're supposed to be building right now.
Right. And here you are, you know, walking around toting a gun thinking that's cute. But I'm going to get on the subject about these little females too, because we talk so much about the men and how do these young boys and men get these weapons.
And I'm glad you said that, because in my mind I'm like, females too though, you know, they be out here doing stuff they're not supposed to be doing.
There's always somewhere, there's always one of them young women that says, you know, oh, I want a thug. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure that's really what you want?
I think what they mean is I want someone to, you know, be that protector, you know, like a protector.
But there's a difference.
But being young, you don't know the difference. You know, you don't know the difference. You just see all these people in the street doing what they're doing, and you're thinking like, oh, I want, you know, someone like him. But you're not realizing that's not what you want. You want the quality of being protected,
right? But
not the quality of everything else that come with it.
And this is what some of them fall for, because the first thing is they meet this person, and this person's they're reading these young women. These young boys and these men are reading these young women and these young girls, and they're saying, she don't have a criminal record. She got a job. Oh, baby, I love you. Can you do me a favor? Come on, I'm going to take you out to the Bass Pro Shop or to Trout's, or I want you to get this gun for me. Her being so naive and gullible, okay, honey, I love you. I'll do whatever it takes. Well, now you just purchased a weapon for somebody that can't even get a weapon.
Yeah. Did
it ever make you stop and wonder why he asked you to get it and not himself?
Yeah.
Because there's a problem there. And a lot of these young girls and these females don't understand, or they don't care. Because if that weapon gets involved in a homicide and you don't know it, and you haven't reported that gun stolen. Hi, what's your name? Amanda?
Yeah.
Welcome to Dauphin County Prison, where you'll be spending the majority of your time until further notice. And this is where it comes about. And it's so much talk about young men, young boys, children. Let's keep these women in
hold
the
them
loop
accountable
too, because
too. Yeah.
they both need to be held accountable.
And let's be clear, we all been gullible for love, because
Yes.
I have too. But that's one thing that
Well, you gotta draw the line.
Yeah, I grew up around all of these things my whole life. So again, how I teach my children, I was taught, and I knew. All right, no, you ain't getting no gun in my name, buddy. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like
there's problems that come
street
behind
smart.
it. Yes, and the educational system doesn't educate these young lives on what it takes to be in this society today.
Yeah.
Forget 50 years ago. Nobody cares about Columbus anymore discovering America, because America done went to hell. So,
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing. You just is like, nah, that's it. It's done.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's gone. And,
yeah.
If you take a look at every system, the judicial system, the children and youth system, the educational system,
Yeah.
It's
all falling apart.
It's all going. Teachers don't even want to report to school, not because they don't want to, but because y'all badass kids, and that's what I call them. I'm gonna call it what it is. Your kids go in there, disrupting a classroom. If your child don't want to learn, take them out to school. Take the fine, take the cost, put them on whatever type of class you can do online. But there are kids out here who want this education, who deserve this education.
And there's some kids that they do too, but they don't know, they're going through so much at home too, behind the scenes, because there's kids out here that are exposed to gun violence, exposed to drugs, exposed to abuse, exposed to neglect, and they go to school and they become bullies and all these things because that's their way of lashing out. That's their way of coping with whatever they're going through at home. They have no control at home, so let me go to the school because I know I can control these situations.
Exactly.
And it does become messy, but those really are the people that, people need to love the most. Like how you're doing with your Schaffner, your at-risk teens. Like, these teens, they've probably been through this stuff because they went through some crap at home.
Right.
And it's like, dang, I just want to be loved. I just want to be shown like I matter to somebody. And then instead of getting it from home, the street showed me I mattered. But then, unfortunately, I ended up here.
Right.
So a lot of the times, the kids that are act out the most are the ones who need the most help.
Yes.
And they need the most love, and they need that hug and that tough love, as far as like, I don't care if you like it or not, I'ma still teach you, and I'ma still love on you, and I'ma still do what I'm supposed to do. Yes. And that's a word for somebody, because even as adults, we have to do that. There's people who, as adults, act out, or they stir up stuff, or they do things they're not supposed to do. And really, it's like a cry for help.
Yes.
And we don't notice it. We brush it off because we're angry at what they're doing, or we don't want to pay no mind to it, or we want to feed into it and make the big situation bigger. But really, like, you got to take the time to know that these people are broken too, and they need some love too.
You have to be able to recognize certain triggers,
absolutely,
in people. And when I go talk to these young men down in Schaffner, I always try to explain to them, listen, I'm your biggest cheerleader.
Yeah.
If I didn't care about you,
I wouldn't be here.
I wouldn't be here. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to save a soul. That's what this organization is about, is saving a soul, because there was one soul that was taken that didn't deserve to be taken. Right. And it caused so much grief for his mother, for his father, for his siblings, God forbid, for his sons, and right now there's a curtain shielding them. There's a curtain shielding them because they have no idea. And it makes me wonder sometimes, does Kaysen ever stop? And there's always things around them to keep him in their remembrance.
Right.
And I just always think, does Kaysen even remember, oh, that's Dada. That's Dada. Because he's so young. And these are things that I sit and think about, because again, one day that story is going to have to come about. I may not be here. I know that his grandparents and his mother and his aunts and his uncles and his just entire family will be like them sitting right here, and this whole room is filled with their father's presence of knowing, hey, look, we got you. We got you. And like I said, I might not be here, but I'll be looking down,
Yeah.
smiling. That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Y'all got them boys. You sure do. And people
Yeah.
get offended because, they say, oh, you care so much about Kason and Seven than you do the rest of your grandkids. And I want to make something perfectly clear. Okay? I love all my grandkids equally.
Right.
However, I have to remind them, your kids' dads are here.
Yeah.
They're in their presence.
Yeah.
They can
They're
pick up
involved.
the phone and call. They can take them for ice cream. They can sit there at a birthday party and take pictures and blow out candles. And these two little boys,
they don't have that.
They don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, my love is more deeper for them because of hurt.
Yeah, and trying to fill that void that they may have. And if you, and just to be perfectly honest, it probably will never be filled because you're not their dad.
Right.
No, none of the family members are their dad. But that's what's going to make the love and the bond that they have with you and their grandparents and things like that more stronger, is because they're going to know that you love them so much that they didn't miss out on love.
Right.
They miss their dad and they know he's not here, and they wish that it could be, but they didn't miss out on love. You guys didn't make them feel that void.
Right.
They didn't have to feel it because it was filled and
with
surrounded.
So
with so much love. And that's important because a lot of times when people lose another family member, some people, they want to be stuck in hurt or sympathy or just the pity and the loss and everything, that they forget that the kids are the ones who feel it. Even though they're children, they're the ones who feel it the most.
They have feelings too.
They have feelings. So
they have their emotions running.
You guys
too.
loving on them is going to make them feel so much better as they grow up to understand what love really is and what family looks like when they pull together.
Yes.
But the void of missing their dad, I guess for the younger ones, he's just going to miss what he never had. He never had the opportunity.
Right.
And that's going to be...
And that's the part that hurts me.
Yeah, and it's going to. But what you should find comfort in is the love that is given to them.
Because I think his grandma and his grandpa and we call Kason and Seven Pappy and Pop-Pop, but like Daquan's sisters and his whole family, when I go around them, I can just feel so much pure energy and love because they're a close-knit family that, just to look at that is knowing that these boys are well loved.
Yeah. And that's important. That's so important.
I say it all the time that, maybe Kason and Seven do bring comfort to the grief.
Right.
Maybe it brings love to that dark place that they're in, because one thing that I have to say is his case is still unsolved. December 26th will be 2 years. And that's another thing that I fight for, is because everybody deserves justice. Everybody deserves closure.
Yeah.
And that closure is the most important thing, because the grieving is never going to stop. The healing can do some, the love can do some, the support can do some, but that closure is so important, because I want them to know who did this, who was the coward that shot him in his back. That's where the justice comes in at, because we got to hold everybody accountable for what happened and is what's not happening. Yeah. If certain people have information, I'm not saying by all means call the police department and say, hey, look, this is what happened, I know this, but there was 2 individuals with him that night. You can't sit here and tell anybody that they don't know something. I'm not buying that. I didn't buy it then, and I'm not buying it now. And this is what I do. I speak of it, and I speak of Daquan's name, because if you know something, say something. Because if it was your family, you would want to. And again, it's not just for Daquan. It is about Daquan, but Amir Burnett, Sean Harrison, all these other people whose cases are unsolved or their killer has yet to be caught. These families, these mothers deserve to know. They deserve an answer. And it shouldn't have to take 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 years for you to find out what's going on, because that makes me feel like, well, we'll work on this case today and we'll just leave that one sit there. We all know that our taxpayer money pays for these homicides, but at the end of the day, when are you really going to get off your butt and actually start doing something? Because if you have people that you know were a part of this, why aren't you doing more than what you are? Why ain't your foot around their neck saying, listen, we know that you were there.
Right.
We know that you were with him because you told us that you were with him. There's so many ways that can be presented. Did you drive him to his final destination? Did you know what was going to happen? What happened? That's all we want to know. That's what his family deserves. It's what his son deserves, both of them. And this is what I'm trying to bring about, because I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to, every time Heating God's Call puts their t-shirts up, you will see my face. Every time there's a march or a protest, you're going to see my face. In fact, we're getting ready to put something together that's called Journey of Justice. You can almost imagine what that's going to be about, because we are demanding justice for these unsolved homicides. We have a right to know. Families have a right to know. And this is where Put Down the Guns is going to stand firm. We're going to stand strong, and we're not backing away. I can't back away.
Right.
This has been a set assignment from the Most High, and this got to be completed. So I'm not going nowhere. I hope I shake up a few people in this city, and
right.
I also hope that, in regards to Amir, he's from Harrisburg, but he was shot and killed in Virginia, and I'm trying to get his mother to help me set up my organization down there as a second chapter, so we can grow, because the more we grow and the more people that join, our fight is getting better. Mm-hmm. It's getting stronger. It's getting louder. The more voices, and I know my voice is already loud, but picture putting 100 grieving mothers in one spot with a bullhorn, and just imagine what the outcome of that would be. And that's what we're here for. This is what we're here to do. We're also here to, let these grieving mothers know that we have resources that, can help you as far as, your emotions and the healing process and all the things. But again, that word grieving, there's mothers that I talked to where she was so happy to come outside after all this time. Excuse me. And I got her outside. She came to the event and she was speaking to the camera. She was speaking to the news. The next day, she fell right back into that dark spot. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But she chose to do this. And this is another part of the process, is to speak your words so that I can fight harder. With these mothers, like Daquan's mom, I know she can't speak about it. I know she can't. That's where I come in. I'm going to be her voice, her husband's voice, her daughter's voice.
Right.
I'm going to be that entire family's voice to let everybody know, Put Down the Guns ain't going nowhere. Put Down the Guns is going to get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger, and we're going to motivate. We're going to set up shop in every place that you can imagine. And the more people that join, I have 400 and some members. I don't even know where they're all from, but I know that there's a lot of views that's on my page. And as long as I know that you're viewing, You must know I'm doing something right. You must know and understand that it's positive. And again, being the only female, the only woman out here doing this, do I feel scared? No, not at all. Because I know that I'm covered in the armor of Christ, for one. For two, I don't have to leave out my house with a gun on my side because I know I'm covered in the blood. And with God before me, who the hell can be against me? If I shake up these people that are out here doing wrong, then I'm doing my part right.
Right.
Then I know that I'm doing something right.
Yeah, and again, you're shaking up these spirits. You know, you're shaking up the spirits that are attached to them, because the individuals themselves, you know, this is flesh and blood, but we're fighting against those spirits and those them demons that are fighting.
I'm going through a spiritual warfare right since the beginning of this, because trust and believe, as soon as I get something in my head, that devil will say, I got something planned.
Yeah.
And I just be like, yeah, all right, you got something planned. I'll be like, did you hear this guy? You know what I mean? And I'll be like, all right, I ain't going to say, try me. Try me and see where you go. And there's always going to be that, because when God puts you in the spirit to give you something to do, first of all, the devil has to ask for permission before he can mess with you, because you are a child of God. So when Jesus says, go ahead, give it your best shot, but I already know what she's going to do. She's going to put her foot down harder, and she's going to keep going forward and pressing forward harder and harder. And that's what it is every time. Sure, there's days where I'm like, why am I even doing this? I don't feel like nothing. That's the devil, because I left my mind open for that split second, and that second, that became his playground. Mm-hmm. So what do? You got to gather all that strength back up, and you just got to start going harder and going better.
Yeah.
But it's going to happen, because if I can save just one soul, it might be your child's soul that I save, then I did something right.
I did my job. Completed my assignment.
Exactly.
In your journey with this, and I know that it's saving souls for other people, and I know that you're big on, you know, just the justice and the putting the guns down for people. But what is it doing for you? Can you forgive whomever did what they did to Jaquan?
We have to forgive, because God forgives us every day. We sin each and every day, even though people will say, I don't sin. We all sin.
Yeah, we all do. Yeah.
I don't care if it's you cussed, if you smoked a cigarette, whatever you did, you sinned.
Absolutely.
But we always end up asking God to forgive us.
Right.
Do we have to forget? Of course not.
Absolutely.
We'll never forget.
Yeah.
Because you took somebody who's no longer here. He's no longer a part of us except for in memory.
Right.
And yeah, my words to people would be, you know, you hold all that anger inside because they took your loved one. But you have to remember, one day we're all going to expire. And we all got to be held accountable for everything that we did in human form.
Yeah, that's true.
And one of the things God's going to say is, you know, well, did you forgive so-and-so for what they did? Because there's people that have that, I ain't forgiving nobody for nothing. All that stuff they did to me. But when you go through life in this process, you have to remember, God forgave us. He forgives us all the time.
And it's more harmful to you as a believer to hold all that anger and not forgive. You just mess up your own soul.
Yes. Because
no good thing is going to come to you if you're still angry and you're still bitter and again, that's the enemy playing with that playground. Like, I'm not going to forgive. No, they did this. And not saying that what they did was okay. Taking someone's life,
right,
your children,
it's not okay.
your dad, your mom, whatever the case may be. None of those things are okay. Not being raped, not being molested, not being hurt or neglected in any type, way, shape, or form. None of those things are okay.
Right.
But you got to learn to forgive those people, because if you don't, you hold on to that baggage your whole life. And that kind of like bleeds into relationships with your children and your family and friends. And while this person is living their best life, doing their thing, and they're living worry free and they don't care.
Right. And
then you're stuck. So forgiving people is something that's very challenging, by the way. But it's so rewarding when you finally look in the mirror and you're like, you know what? I ain't even mad at them. It is what it is. Like, I forgive you. You fucked up. All right, you know. But now I know how to move with you moving forward, or now I know I could forgive you, but I don't have to be around you, you know. So then there's those boundaries that are set and things like that. But forgiving someone is a very important thing, and it's more powerful. So it's like also letting go of that. I'm gonna catch you. I'm gonna catch you. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. You know, or I'm gonna do this to you because you did this to me, or I'm gonna wait to the right moment and then I'm gonna get you back. It's like
it takes up too much time and
just
energy.
let it go.
Yeah,
let it go. And in life, period, we tend to hold on to a lot of things, and me personally held on to a lot of things of anger and stuff like that I had in my past and things. And like just recently with doing my healing events and becoming who I am today, and thankful to God for it all, I have learned that just let it go. Yeah, I can't change it. You know, does it cross your mind sometimes? Yes, but then that's when that playground, you have to jump in that playground too and allow God to jump in and say, get that out of there. Get that negative thought out of there.
Because it affects you.
It's done.
In your journey, you know, where I'm at with this organization, I feel like there's going to be people that's not going to like me, and that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And that's okay. I wasn't here for you to like me.
There's people here that's going to judge me. That's fine, but remember,
okay.
One day you'll be judged as well. There's going to be people who yay me and people who are going to nay me.
Absolutely.
But none of them are going to stop me. I don't care how you feel about me. I don't care what you think about me, what you say about me.
Life still goes on.
I'm not looking for a spotlight.
Right.
I'm not looking to stand in the middle of, you know, Harrisburg on Cameron Street with this bright light that says, she did it.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for that. I'm not an LLC. I'm not a nonprofit. So everything that I'm doing from my heart. I'm doing from my heart. And for me to take out of my time to think, oh, well, this person felt offended because I did this, or that person don't like me because of my hairstyle, or I'm not here for none of that. I'm here to
do what God called me to do.
A soul. Am I going, no, Lord, I don't feel like working today.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or, no, Lord, I can't complete this assignment. I don't need to wake up at 4 o'clock. I don't need him to wake me up at 4 o'clock in the morning, sitting on my bed looking at me like this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, why couldn't you complete this assignment?
Mm-hmm.
What do you got to do today? Because he can stop you dead in your tracks.
Yeah, for sure.
And say, I told you that this
do.
was your assignment,
mm-hmm.
and you're going to complete this assignment. I don't care if your eyes is watered, your nose is running, you can cough a lung up.
Get up!
It's time to do this.
I woke you up, it's time to get up.
And this is what it is. And, you know, this is a movement. This is something that I'm not taking lightly, and
right.
I don't want nobody else to take it lightly, because I tell people all the time, we're tired of the RIEPs, we're tired of the t-shirts, we're tired of the rest in peace, we're tired of the balloon releases, we're tired of the candlelight vigils, we're tired of, you know, mothers and fathers burying their children when it should be the other way around.
Yeah.
And it just needs to come to a stop, you know. And it's okay to use your voice to voice how you feel. Let's voice it to the people that it matters to. Let's voice it to these lawmakers who, by the way, gave themselves a raise, but they're not doing something, because criminals hold their oath just like a crooked politician. They don't care. And the fact that you're giving yourself raises, but you don't want to hear us, the community leaders who are out here doing what you should be doing. You pay us no mind. You won't allow us into your schools. But you have more drama going on in your schools than that can be talked about. Where's the faith leaders at? Why aren't you out here or allowing us or inviting us into your churches? We're on Facebook. I'll be more than glad to come into your church, because guess what? I bet you out of 9 churches in this city, somebody's family member in one of them churches died behind gun violence. Where are all these people at? They don't want to talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about it. But nobody wants to lose another life either.
Right.
So what do?
Yep.
You got to keep talking. You got to keep preaching. You got to keep marching.
Mm-hmm.
And
keep teaching. Keep doing what you're doing, and keep, sharing wisdom to people. And what good thing about your organization is that you are relatable because you experienced it.
Yes.
And some people don't see that, you know what I mean? But it's a difficult situation because you got the people who are in your shoes and like, okay, we want justice, but then you got the other end with the people whose families know that their child is the shooter, and it's like you want to protect them, but really you have to everyone has to be held accountable. And when I mean held accountable, I mean all across the board, because there's people who dip and dab in the streets, and they're doing things that their families don't know about, and then when a situation takes place, it's like, oh, they were so innocent. Well, they weren't, because they were out in the street too.
Most of these
doing
kids,
things they weren't supposed to.
They live a double life.
Yes, they do.
When they're at home, you can be the best set of parents in the world.
Oh yeah, and your kid could be the best.
Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'll take the trash out, ma'am. Do the dishes, ma'am. As soon as they walk out that door, gang, gang. Now they're in a whole different mode.
Yeah.
Once that door closed and it's slammed, and okay, so what do you do as a mother or a father, or aunt, uncle, grandparent, whoever? Go through their house. Go through your house.
Yeah.
Look underneath the mattresses. Look in the shoe boxes. Look any place that common sense. In the bushes out front, for God's sake.
Yeah, that's what my mom used to tell me. She goes, I raised you one way here, but I don't know what you're doing once you leave that door.
Exactly.
So, I try to raise my children, and I always thought about that. So I always tried to be a person where I'm not out here doing crazy stuff, because, I don't want my mom to look bad, for raising me, or my grandmother. And with my kids, I try to tell them all the time, how you act out there represents how you act,
reflects on you.
How I'm raising you in here. And I'm not raising you to be, somebody that you don't need to be. I'm not raising followers. I'm not raising people to be out here acting crazy. Right. I'm not, so they have the dojo app on school, for school and stuff. And I'm texting teachers, how were they today? Did, this is that. And I tell my kids, yeah, so what you did today? Nothing. Yeah, so you didn't do this and that, and they're looking like, how you know? Yeah, I check in, because how you act out there, it shows on my parenting, how I'm raising you. And I'm not raising you like that. So I don't know what you was in school acting like that for.
Right.
So, then they try to get themselves together, but, it's true. You don't know what your kids are doing behind the scenes, but when shit hits the fan, it's like,
sometimes it's a hard blow, and it's harder than what you really want to know, because, I've worked with a lady where, her son was just that. He was the yes ma'am, no ma'am, you better not do this type child, you know what I mean? As soon as he go out the door, he was living a whole other lifestyle. Oh, no, he ain't. My son ain't never going to do nothing like that. Well, right now your son's doing 15 to 30 for a homicide. So don't say your child will never do that, because if you don't know who your child's around, your child could be 15 years old sitting around in 27, 28, 30-year-old men's faces, drinking, smoking weed. Listen, my grandson, when he was 14, got caught up on a gun charge. He had a fully loaded 380. He was 14. He was around two other people who knew that my grandson didn't understand the way that you and I understand.
Right.
And they played on that.
And that's what I told you about earlier, that a lot of these people are
manipulators.
Older, and they know that here's a young kid, and he really don't know, and he's not getting that love and stuff from home, so let me put it in there. And like, goes back to the peer pressure that it's strong.
My thing is now, if you're so gangster, and this is one of my new phrases, if you're so gangster, instead of having these young men and these young women losing their life, why don't you educate them on how to make a life, how to create a life? Yeah,
I said that too in one of my videos. I was like, you teaching people how to flip packs, You know what I'm saying? And why don't you teach them how to flip houses, flip cars, fix a car, man, do drywall. Like, you know, growing up, I've watched, you know, a lot of men in my family and stuff fix cars, do drywall, you know, fix houses, remodel this, or fix a bike, or, you know, I'm a female. I know how to do it, to change my tire. I know how to do an oil change.
Right.
I know how to look for my spark plugs. I know how to check my fluids because I watched this. You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, I know the street stuff too, but that's just not my life, you know. That's not what I want to do. And so yeah, if you would just teach them something different,
right,
they will be something different.
And you can't necessarily take the way that you may have been raised, because I was adopted when I was 2 years old. But I don't play on that I can't even say lifestyle, the way that I was raised, because I was raised by a man who did 22 and a half years in the Air Force, so he was playing no games whatsoever.
Yeah.
If he said, you better be home by 7 o'clock, I don't care if the street light comes on at 9, you better be here at 7, because if not, we got a problem. And, you know, even though my biological parents was in and out of my life, I still didn't use that as a oh,
crutch.
Well, my mom and dad hurt me when I was 2, so, yeah, now I'm going to take it out on you, and you. No, I forgave my mom. My biological dad, we haven't talked in so long, and I'm not going chasing him because I feel like you had me, so you should be chasing after me. I had to forgive her because, you know, when they were parents, we didn't come with instructions and books either.
And we still don't.
Exactly.
We still don't.
So you always know God gave us one of each. 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 ears, 2 eyes, 2 sides of your brain. It's not hard to figure out what's right and what's wrong. If it doesn't feel right, then it isn't right.
Right.
When you do something good, you feel the positive. You feel the oh, that's a sigh of relief. You know, you feel God saying, good job.
Yeah.
You know, but if you don't feel that, then you should know that what you're doing is wrong.
Yeah.
And it's sad to say, but a lot of these young men that are leaving out of this world have been hurt at some point in time in their life, and they don't know where to turn because there's really not too many resources out here.
Yeah.
You know, I've spoke to Mayor Williams about safe havens for these young men, and she keeps telling me, oh, we're working on this. And so see, you know, how long is it going to take you exactly, because I'm also doing trying to open a second chance program for juvenile and young adult offenders. And they would have to, you know, do community hours. So many community, it would be up to the judge, of course, but they would have to agree to it and come do community service. And when I say community service, I don't mean going alongside the highway picking up trash.
No.
You're going to have to write almost like a thesis to explain, you know, what you took, and now what do you want to give back?
Yeah.
And how are you going to give it back? You know, and
or take some classes, take some healing classes, take some growth classes, something that's going to help build you back up.
And there's always a way. And, you know, I tell people, I wake up as a woman, I wake up as a mother, then I wake up as a grandmother, then I wake up as a great-grandmother. So with all these grandkids running around, you know, do I want to show them negativity? No, we don't, because they're going to eventually see it anyway. But you have to let them know that no matter what, you have 1,000 resources right here that we can help you.
Yeah,
you know?
and not only that, and I try to tell my daughters, like, no matter what it looks like on the outside and what people are doing out there, and you stay true to you,
right?
To yourself. If you know that's wrong, don't do it. It's wrong. You know it's wrong. Don't let no one change you to make you feel like you got to do it. No, I'm not doing it. I don't care how you feel.
Beat me up. I don't care.
You know, the answer is no. And that's just what it is. Some people, they feed into the peer pressure. They feed into trying to keep up with other people. And it's like, no, if it's wrong, it's wrong. I'm not doing it. I don't use my story and my life as a crutch. I use it. It's what I've been through. It's who I am today.
Right.
I'm not upset about anything I've been through. It's who made me. I'm sitting right here because of what I've been through. So I'm very grateful. I'm very proud of it. Was it always the best stuff? No. But Who said life was about to be easy?
Who said it was going to be perfect? Nobody has a perfect life. I was married to somebody who was a kingpin in Harrisburg years ago. Okay, unfortunately, he's sitting in Dauphin County Prison now on 2 charges of attempted homicide. However, when I go to speak and I go speak to these young men, there's things that come back. God will always bring it back to your remembrance.
Yeah.
And I always find something useful from back then to use at them now.
Yeah.
And
that's what makes your testimony powerful. That's what makes your connection and your and what you're doing with those young boys incredible, because you can relate to them.
Yes.
People don't want to hear, and I'm not knocking therapists, you know what I'm saying? I'm really not. But people don't want to hear, yeah, I understand. Yeah,
when you don't understand.
When you don't understand, you really have to live in this lifestyle to understand this lifestyle.
Right.
You can't just be on the outside in your white, the nice house with the white picket fence and everything's great, and you look over here down at us like we ain't shit,
right,
and all this, and then think like, well, I understand. No, you don't understand.
And that's the problem with some of these lawmakers. Like, their kids go to private schools. They get to go eat in the cafeteria where it's like buying McDonald's. City kids, they don't have that. They don't have the opportunity to go, wear the best clothes, the name brand jewelry and clothes and shoes and sneakers that, these politicians' kids are able to do. So how dare you come to this city as a lawmaker or any other type of official and say, we understand. You don't understand.
No, you don't understand. And another thing is too, lawmakers, people got money and all that stuff. They don't have like our problems when it comes to like the financial and the poverty.
They most definitely don't.
But they got other problems. They got deeper problems.
Well, yeah.
Your kids got access to more drugs than our kids. Your kids,
they got the money to buy
kids are structured way better, and they're in this position of a higher authority, and they're all into themselves, and then they get in trouble and mommy and daddy come take them out. They're not accountable for their actions. Their things are swept under the rug. So they deal with other demons. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if I had to choose, I choose my demons that I got over here in the hood, because at least I know what it is.
I know each one of them personally.
Yeah, I know what it is. And when it's that side, it's like, it's like in disguise.
And because people always say, I just wish I was rich. I don't want to be rich.
I don't want to be rich.
I want to be comfortable.
I want to be comfortable. I want to be able to,
because people will try to kill you to take your money.
Yeah, absolutely. and the people from my hood that I'm trying to help out. No? So, right. I feel like I don't want to be rich. I want to live comfortable. I want to be able, if my family wants to go somewhere, I could afford to do it, and I don't have to be like, hold on, let me go look in the bank account. If my mom, she wants something, I can go ahead and do that for her. If I want to have a big enough house that, when my mom and my dad, they're at that age where they can't be alone and things, that they have a comfortable home to come to, that I'm able to take care of them, that I don't have to put them in a nursing home or anything like that, that I have the funds to make sure that there's watch for them, or my kids, my kids, they're here to help. I want to live, I just like what money can do as far as stability, but I don't have like a love for money, like, oh, I just wish I was rich, because I'm in a comfortable position in my life right now, and I'm not where I want to be, but a damn sure not where I was. So I'm very grateful for it. So for my thing for money is just the stability that it comes with it, and the financial freedom that you get, because like I don't have to rob from Peter to pay Paul type stuff. But to be rich and stinking rich to the point where I lose my values and I lose who I am and my children lose who they are, and no, I don't. No, I grew up in a life that I grew up for a reason. And it showed me a lot, and it structured me a lot, and I'm grateful for every step of the way. And sometimes I do get frustrated because you want your organization or your life or things to go further ahead and a little quicker, and it doesn't really work that way. It's like,
but it will. It'll get there. Because,
yeah, and it will.
It's all, and I say it to myself all the time. It's always on God's time.
It is.
And
sometimes I'll be wondering, like, are you listening to me up there? Like,
that's what I do. Sometimes I be
all
like,
right.
all right, Lord, like, what,
yes.
I already did all this, so
like, what's next?
What
Hello.
am I supposed to do now? Because I'm getting kind of bored.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you sit there and it's like, bam.
Yep.
Yeah, this is what you got to do now. Thanks.
Yeah.
You know, but.
And he works. He does work. He doesn't work on our time, but he always works at the right time.
Yes.
And that's the most important thing, is working at the right time. Because if I do it on my time, it ain't going to come out right. It's going to fall apart. I've tried it.
That's why, you know, at some point in time, you know, God says, will you please stop trying to steal the pen, because I'm doing something here and you're like confusing me up here, you know, let me do this.
Yeah, I got it.
But yeah, whatever God sets in front of you, if he brought you to it, he's going to make sure he gets you through it.
Yes.
He's going to get you to not where you want to be, but where he wants to take you. Yeah. And sometimes, you know, it's going to
be way better than what you want.
Yes.
You know, because our minds, we don't have the capacity to look beyond certain things. But God is like, you're looking right now, but you're not looking like over there, like far, far over there, how it's going to be. So for me, you know, I look at what I'm doing here, and it's the setup or my life and everything. It may not be everything I want at this moment, but I know that I'm going to look back in 10 years and be like, look at how I started. Look at how I looked, or, you know, look at this or that. And then it's like,
there I have that on.
Yeah, like, was my hair like that for real? Like, you know, but that is going to make it all the more rewarding, because it's like, I didn't picture me being here. I would not think I'd be doing this. I would not think I'd open no organization. I would not think I'd be doing, you know, the videos. I would not think I'd be out here helping people.
Right.
I just didn't think this would be me, you know. I'm not saying that I've never had that heart, because I've always did. But I just didn't think I would be doing this. Right. So in 5 years, you think, I don't know where he's going to have me, but I'm excited to see.
I didn't think he was going to have me doing this. I was thinking maybe bowling or, you know.
Yeah, you know, and, you know, I've always wanted like a really big family, and, you know, just the kids running around the house and all that stuff. And I'm going to have it, you know, and I still have, you know, I have a pretty big family, but I'm going to have it where, you know, there's a big enough house where there's enough room for my family. There's enough grass and land and, you know, all these things where they can go run and play.
Right.
But I was listening to something too, and it's just like, it's not what you have now. It's not the money. It's not any of that. It's like, what contribution are you putting into the world? Right. What change are you making in the world that when you're no longer here, that still lives on past you? And so I think about those things, and even with Step Out the Box, and it's like, I pray all the time that whatever vision he gave me for Step Out the Box and where it's going, that it does, you know, I know nothing goes back to him in void, so I know it's going to come to pass. Right. I don't know when, of course, because we don't, but I know it will come to pass. And I just feel so honored and blessed to know that when it does, that even if I'm not here, that will still live on.
Carry on.
And my kids can say, yeah, that was my mom, you know, or people see them, and they're like, is your mom, you know, Amanda from Step Out the Box? Yeah, that's my mom. Or your grandmom, is that your grandmom? And it's like, yeah, that's my grandmom. And it's like, okay, you see, we live on. We live through the generations, and as the generations watch us and see that we're living on, it'll create
better
that path
patterns,
and they will be like, okay, well, we need to create something to live on, and it, you know, and we'll get there. But I think the biggest part of all our organizations, every single one, especially nonprofits that are all for the community and building, the most important thing is that we want more love around.
Yeah.
You gotta love people more. You really do. And it's not saying that you gotta be in love with them. And it's not saying you gotta live with them. And it's not saying you gotta hang out with them all day long. It's just saying, like, look, I love you enough not to kill you. How about that? I love you enough not to want to fight you. Listen, you know, and it goes a little bit back to when we spoke about the girls too, because they are manipulative too.
Yeah.
You know, women can be very manipulative, and they like to make a nigga jealous and do all this and all that. And then it's like, no. Because you're causing a problem now, you know. So you got to watch with these women too, with I'm with you and then I'm with you, and then I'm with you but then I'm with you. But I'm telling you, while I was with him, I'm telling him what you said.
It's a setup pattern.
And it just becomes too much. we have to recognize the triggers and recognize when people are trying to set us up.
Right.
And then we also have to just be like, I'm not dealing with that, you know. And it's hurtful. It really is hurtful, especially when you love somebody and you think that they love you, and then they're doing all this crazy weird stuff. You know, you do have hurt feelings, and you want to go ahead and kick their ass and everybody else's ass and all this, but just don't pick up a gun or a knife or a bat or anything else that's going to kill somebody.
Anything that's going to cause bodily injury.
Yeah, no.
It's just not.
And people who don't care about you in that way, like people who put you in problems, they're not for you.
They're
My
not
mom used to always tell me that, like when I was around certain girls growing up, and it was always, you know, just he said, she said drama. And then, mind you, this was elementary, high school, and my mom used to always tell me, if they're your friends, they're not going to put you in problems.
Right.
Friends don't put you in. And people who love you, they don't put you in problems.
They don't put you in situations, cause situations.
No.
If anything, they try to protect you.
Yes,
and keep you out
away
of harm's
from that.
way.
Yeah.
And show you that, you know, there's values to life. Like, there's levels to this shit.
Yeah.
And I would rather be a person
Yeah.
up here, you know, doing something positive
Yeah.
and, you know, bringing awareness to my community than to be the one sitting in somebody's jail cell, you know. Well, Lord, how much time am I going to get for this now?
Oh, yeah. And then you got to worry about somebody telling you what to do, when to piss, when to shit, when you
When
can
to
take a
get up,
shower.
when to eat.
You got to eat at this time, got to eat at this time. I'm not hungry at this time, but if I don't eat now, I'll be starving until this time. Like, I don't want to live like that. You know what I mean? And there are people who do live like that, and some people are used to that lifestyle, and they continuously always go in and out of prison.
Even when they see that it doesn't work for them, they still, well, I'm going to go out here and sell this 8-ball again. Yeah. Didn't that what just got you locked up the first time? But if it didn't work for you the first 3 times.
But that's the enemy too.
It is.
You know, making them feel like they can't do anything else. Nobody's gonna give you a job because you got this. And society too, they don't want to give people second chances. It's like, you ain't gonna get no job, you're not gonna do this, or you're not gonna do that, or you're not worthy of this, and you're not worthy of that, and I'm not giving you this job because you're gonna fuck it up because you got this drug sale, or you got this. And it's like, all right, so the enemy is just closing all these doors that you feel like the mind games again. And it's like, okay, well, go ahead and do that. You know you good at that, so go ahead and do that. And then in your mind, you're like, I'm just going to do it once. Or I'm going to just do it until I get this much money.
But the faster that money comes.
But right until you get that mark of money is when you get set up.
Exactly.
Or when something happens. And there you go, back in this prison cell. So you have to know, like, no matter if the odds are against you, you have a choice to do right or wrong. Odds are always going to
build against. Odds build against me every day, doing what I do. But I also know when to say, you know, this person might invite me to something and I don't really know too much, but I've been watching how you've been moving and the things that you're saying, and I'm like, no, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't jeopardize my organization, for instance, politics. I can't involve myself in personal affairs when it comes to politics because people pay attention. And they watch, they look and see how you move, they look and see who you're dealing with, they're looking to see who you're clapping for, and, you know, sitting there wondering, you know, what's going on. And the next thing you know, they're like, I ain't dealing with that organization because they're about politics, and politics can bring this. And, you know, I'd rather let God sort them type of things out because, again, I don't want nothing hindering what I'm doing because I have a purpose.
Right.
I have a purpose that is so powerful that I feel like some people in this world just isn't ready for it.
Yeah.
But I do know one thing certain and 2 things for sure. Gun violence is real and people don't come back. Yeah. And I just, you know, I want to say that I encourage people. And, you know, you're more than welcome to come join. There's a place for you. Right now, I'm looking for board members and, you know, just members in the organization for, you know, different things. And I encourage, you know, you're more than welcome to come, sign up, join, participate, you know. And I'm glad that I met with you, Amanda, because, people that are going through grieving and things that they might need, counseling, and, they can come say, do you know anybody that can help? Yes, I do. Hey, contact Amanda from, Outside the Box. She's got people that you can, talk to,
Yeah.
and, you do healing and prayer in yourself. So, what's more valuable than to be able to give somebody that resource,
Right.
and they turn around and say, you know what, if it wouldn't have been for, Miss Patricia or Miss Tammy or Miss Amanda, I'd still be going through this whole thing. And it just doesn't have to be about gun violence. It can be, just in general. People go through things every day, and I want people to know that I'm not fighting just against gun violence or unsolved homicides, but you have friends here that care. We're people that you can reach out to, in good times and bad times. You might have just went through a divorce and there's thoughts on your mind. Reach out to somebody and talk to us. We're constantly here, and we're on Facebook. I got some changing around I have to do on there because my phone number is changing. So as far as the email and everything, it's right on our website. So until I can get this flyer and business cards made, I just want everybody to be safe. And there's nothing wrong with checking on your kids to make sure your kids are where they're supposed to. If it's between 8 and 3 in the afternoon, the little bastard should be in school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if it's find an after school program. I know this city doesn't have a lot to offer, but don't think that I'm not to these city officials putting pressure on their necks to let them know, this city is part of the downfall. Because if they don't have nowhere to go after school, there's no programs for them to be involved in, what do you expect for them to do? You got to find something. There has to, just like when we get angry, we have to find a resource to vent out.
Mm-hmm.
Just because they're children doesn't mean that they didn't have a bad day. It doesn't mean that, something, didn't work out for them. Maybe they thought they was going to get an A on a test and they ended up getting a D because maybe they were hungry. Maybe they were tired. You got to remember, a lot of these children, what about the children that live in Tent City? They have it so bad, and you would think they would be the kids that would be acting out, but these are the kids that are so grateful to be able to go into a building where there's heat, where there's food, and they can sit there for 8 hours and be thankful that they're not where they have to go back to. That's a virtual reality right there, to know that, okay, I'm in this warm building right now, but the countdown begins before I have to go back to the cold while we're sleeping in a nice warm bed.
Yeah, we went just the other day and gave food, to a few people in our village, I'm gonna say. And it was a rainy day, and we had so many people, just helping out and everything. And it was just like, wow, you live out here and it's rainy and cold as crap, and it just makes you appreciate
what you have
waiting for you when you're done helping the people that you're helping. And this is an eye-opener. And even at our healing events and what we do with Step Out the Box, it's an eye-opener. Listening to people's stories and listening to their testimonies on where they were and where God has placed them today and where they want to be, because we're all healing, we're all growing every day.
Yes.
It changes my mindset all the time, because I always hear a story that either I could relate to, or that I'm just like, my problems is not that big compared to that person.
Right.
And sometimes we think our problems are, but they're really not. But I'm thankful that you came on to the show today.
Yeah, thank you. I'm thankful for being
here. So everyone, just we want to just thank her for coming on. It has been an amazing segment. I wish you guys were actually here, because you would be able to feel it. But I hope that everyone watching, that you just take into consideration her whole story, her whole testimony, what she's been through, what she's trying to do moving forward with her organization and with herself. We look forward to having many more segments, and also partnering with different events in the future. So make sure that you're tuning in to Put Down the Guns on Facebook. Follow the page, share it, Tell your friends about it. Do all the great things that you know how to do, as well as doing that for Step Out the Box. Like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, to our Instagram, to our Facebook. Call us, reach out if you need anything. For any small local businesses, if you want to come on the channel to get your story or your business out there, please come on the channel. We want to spread the word on all of the great people that are in our community. That is what this is all about. It's about building a village and just being there for one another. We are stronger together than we are apart. We love you guys. We appreciate everything you do for us and making sure that our village stays safe. Just go ahead and talk to your children. Go ahead and talk to your friends. Go ahead and spread the love. And she's got a shirt. Okay. So yes, we are putting down the guns and we are stepping out the box because we want change in our community. We want change within ourselves. And we want to break these generational curses. So please follow our pages. Love us and stay tuned for future events for Step Out the Box, because I will have some future events coming up. Okay, I love you guys.